Recording in progress.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is now 9 o'clock. Today is Tuesday, October 18, 2022. We want to welcome all of you to the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. Please rise for an invocation. Commissioner Tony Haas.
Lord, thank you for allowing us to experience another day. Thank you for all our many blessings, family, friends, and our health. Guide us in your way as we continue the day's duties. All in your glory. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Ms. Lopez, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, Mr. Dorncott.
Commissioner Hess? Here. Commissioner Luis Lopez? Here. Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Here. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Commissioner.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Item 2, consideration of minutes. We don't have any. Let's go now to item 3, reading of correspondence, Commissioner Committee reports. Commissioner Luis Lopez, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Welcome, everybody. We've had quite a few meetings coming up this past couple of weeks. But I'll start off with October 10th. I was able to attend and meet the candidates at Trinidad State College. It was a well-attended evening, and it was nice to hear comments from all of our folks that are running for public office. And I just want to thank all of them for being there and for putting themselves in a position to be heard and to take the leap of faith that it is necessary to run for public office. So, win or lose, you're all so appreciated. Thank you for getting involved and being a part of this community and wanting to make it a better place for all of us to live. So thank you to all the candidates. Commissioner Haas was ill that night, but you were well received as well, and you were missed that evening. So October 13th, I had my urban renewal board meeting. We were discussing our budget. We have a loss of revenue coming in through the tax increment funding, which is called the TIF, due to some legislation that was passed this past year for upcoming year. So our revenue averaging of $40,000 is going to be cut probably by 40%. We're looking at a budget of $25,000 revenue coming in from the TIF because of some legislations that were done, removing of some taxes at the state level, and that goes across the entire state of Colorado. So we're considering not moving forward for 2023 with the facade program for our downtown businesses or for all of the businesses that are in the district. Due to the lack of funding we have. We also are moving forward with upping our attorney line item budget so we can move forward with more light and possibly action on dilapidated and buildings in the community with legal services rendered. And we approved a payment on the Americana Road project. So that's moving forward. The hotel has delays due to supply chain issues. So if you ask why the hotel is still not complete, it is mainly supply chain issues, but all that goes through their renewal on that sewage and water lines. We do have one vacancy still on that board. So anybody who's interested in getting involved in Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority, please contact Audrey Garrett, City of Trinidad, or Mr. Ed Grego, who is our chair. On October 14th, I was fortunate to be able to attend the Vietnam ceremony. And thank you for being there and assisting everybody in what you do. It was emotional for all of us, and it was really nice to see our veterans of Los Angeles County being recognized. And for a lot of us, a long time coming. So I was just very proud of them to attend that. On yesterday morning, the 17th, I had one PI board meeting. We still have $139,000 available in funds to lend out under this budget cycle. So we're going to have an Alberg attend in February here in Trinidad at our Chamber of Commerce luncheon. So I'll do this publicly and ask Mr. Dorgan if Los Angeles County, being a member of Trail Partners, if we could sponsor that, Christine. That luncheon, I think, is about $150, so that Open Trail Partners does not have to incur that expense. But I think that would bring a lot of our bankers to the community for this secondary lending mechanism. So I would like to see if we can budget for that, and we'll make that a decision later, but I'd like to introduce that today for sponsoring that chamber luncheon, and then Albert will be here in February, the second and third Wednesday of the month they meet. So she's gladly going to be coming for that. As well, yesterday I met with Mayor Phil Rico and Andre Garrett regarding the Fermi Passenger Rail for an update, and going over the raise grant information. Like I mentioned the last time, the Fermi Passenger Rail was interested in obtaining that $23.4 million for their own services. So we're trying to get some clarification as they go back to that board with some information on the city of Trinidad status moving forward for the passenger rail. And last night, I had a Board of Health budget review work session, and thank you, Christy, for working so well with the Board of Health, Jim Gonzalez. I did ask her regarding the $100,000 from that funding mechanism. If they don't spend it down, they would love to be able to put it on next year's books. So Jim Gonzalez will be contacted very soon. But we have a balanced budget for the Board of Health. There's some funding mechanisms that are not there as they were the previous year from the COVID money. But however, we have a balanced budget. It looks like moving forward. And that will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners in Warfield County, Los Angeles County now in November. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Pass.
On October 6th, Commissioner Lopez and I, along with a few ranchers and concerned residents, met with Tamara Genley from Radfest at the Spanish Meat Center of there. Ms. Genley responded to comments and concerns of the second Radfest bike race that was to take place on October 8th. Many more porta potties were going to be available, and there was some talk of moving this event from October to May to avoid hunting season. That happens. October 7th, Commissioner Lopez and I traveled to Denver to the CCI's legislative committee hearing. 29 legislative proposals from Colorado counties were introduced. 8 were prioritized for Table 1 for the staff to proceed with, and 6 were placed on Table 2. The general theme for all the committees was more local control. On October 12th, I met with several ag organizations to have a discussion about the Farm Bill and to identify priorities. 4 priorities were identified, and the priorities were continuing current Farm Bill program funding for the programs already in place, maintain unified Farm Bill plan that includes nutrition programs and farm programs together, so locally sourced products could be available for local programs. Number 3, prioritizing risk management tools that have federal crop insurance and commodity. And number 4, ensure adequate funding for USDA staffing for additional land for the staffing that's there. October 14th, great job to the AR and Veterans of Foreign Affairs. We were able to meet for the 50th commemoration of the Vietnam War, and very well attended, and I was proud and humbled to be there. That's it.
Well, once again, good morning and welcome. Just a couple of highlights. The meeting that we had on the 6th at the Old Area Inn, there was going to be also a debrief with the group after the Rod Fest, the cycling activities are going on. We're going to have a debrief and kind of assess what was really good, what was not so good, and what are some of the community comments and perspectives. So those meetings are open to the public and to all the farming and ranching community. That was really good. On the, Commissioner Tony has mentioned on the 7th CCI legislative meeting, all that legislation that we as counties voted on, we have to have at least 65% of all counties in Colorado to vote yes or no for that legislation to advance. And if it's less than 65, it goes to table 2, meaning if we have an opportunity later on in the year, that table 2 will supply additional bills to table 1. So if you're interested in looking at all that legislation, it's at Colorado Counties Incorporated. Maybe we can put a link from Colorado Counties Inc. to Animas County so we can keep track of that, of those bills. And one of the things, once we identify those 7-8 bills on first priority, we have really been successful on proposing the legislative groups at the Capitol to carry that legislation and pass it. So we had some pretty good debates. It is an exciting day that we had. So, and on the 10th, I had an opportunity to attend the Behavioral Health Administrative Service Organization called MASOS. So what's happening here is there is this Behavioral Health Administration in Colorado is putting on a 24/7 hotline. And as one of the individuals involved on the opioid group settlement in Region 19 and also the behavioral health, one of my requests to the group is what happens when telehealth doesn't work in the eastern part of the county, here in Animas County, or the western part of the county, and we have somebody in crises. How do they provide the services for rural Colorado? And those are going to be some of the things that we need to work with, the broadband. So there's so many complications, but nonetheless, we keep asking the questions. If the money is going to be spent on the Front Range, up and down the state, we also want to have access to those dollars for the services that we have. One of the assessments that came out of the MASO was that there is a ton of increase behavioral health challenges for our populations, specifically post the pandemic. So how do we deal with that? And I think from our government entities, they're attempting to really work with us, and I hope they do, because we're going to keep them accountable, we're going to keep them at the table, and we're going to keep asking the questions. You're saying that these services are available in Denver, but what about Pueblo? What about somebody that lives really far away? How do we get them from here to there? So that conversation is going to be ongoing for quite a while. The other meeting we had on the 13th was CDPHE, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, is now going to be putting a training for anyone that is serving on the board, Commissioner Lopez, on a public health board. Is we have there's going to be a training. What are the responsibilities of anyone sitting on those boards from the perspective of legislature mandated legislation that passed on 2020. In fact, it was the last session. But one of the recommendations as we close the meeting that I reminded all of us is, and CDPHE is to work with us, not to create a kind of a bully pulpit. Work with us, and in fact, open the trainings to lunch and learns, open the trainings to anybody that wants to go through the community, anyone. You know exactly what your public health agencies need to be doing. So that was pretty well received, and I think, from that perspective, we're going to be making some pretty good inroads with CDPHE in 2022 and 2023. Mr. Dorenkamp and Sheriff Navarrete and I had a conversation also with Enterprise, kind of a lease program for sheriff vehicles. Enterprise sent Mr. Dorenkamp and Sheriff some possibilities. Can we capitalize on an opportunity? Instead of buying 3 cars, can we actually get maybe 4 or 5 cars for the sheriff's office and that kind of thing? So it's kind of a multi-year, multi-vehicle lease program, so we'll keep you posted on that, and I think we need to probably get back with Mr. Smith on that conversation that we had. And again, I want to thank the Daughters of the American Revolution and all of you that put that program together, because I tell you one thing, it is because of those veterans, all veterans, but the Vietnam veterans, you know, indeed I had an opportunity to visit with several of them one-on-one, and they've just a heartfelt feeling of welcome back. I mean, there is just not enough time to appreciate our gratitude for the services that they do out there. So thank you once again. That was great. And that will be the end of the report. So now we're going to go to elected officials updates. Do we have anyone on the line? Do we have anyone from our county assessor? Ms. Amaro? Anyone from the clerk and recorder? By the way, your voting ballots started being mailed out yesterday. So that's just a reminder from our clerk and recorder. They're in the mail, and be certain to return them. And I think it's going to be an exciting election. Anybody from the treasurer's office? Ms. Leonetti?
She's actually at conference.
Okay, very good. And Sheriff Derek Navarrete called me earlier this morning. He said he was at another meeting, but wanted also to be certain that we talk a little bit about the enterprise opportunity that we have in there, and we'll follow up with that. Anyone from our district attorney's office? Mr. Solano? Anyone from the coroner's office? Mr. Berger? Our surveyor? Mr. Gary Terry? Okay. Now we're going to go to the next section, section 5, public comment. We have Mr. Glaze. Please welcome, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Charles Glaze. I'm mayor of Starkville. We came here this morning with a copy of the deed to the schoolhouse in Starkville. And we wanted to find out what we can do with the schoolhouse. Are we free to do whatever we want, or what, you know? It does have a stipulation on it. If you would like, I can give you a copy. Rules.
So I guess, Mr. Glaze, what you're saying is that schoolhouse belongs to the town?
Yes,
Starkville.
it belongs to the town of Starkville, and according to this deed, I'm not sure how to pose the question, but we're trying to figure out what we can do with the schoolhouse, whether we have to restore it and use it for certain purposes, or can we do most anything we want to do with it, like we were thinking about putting an office for the town in it, things like that, but we wanted to find out just exactly what we can do.
You know, I'm going to probably later on we have to defer to our legal counsel, but a little bit of research is going to have to take place. And my personal knowledge would be that since you are a municipality and you are governed by an independent group of elected officials, I think within the statute, and that's exactly where this is going to come from, it pretty much will outline what could, you know, it's no different than any other, like the city of Trinidad owning some buildings and deciding what they're going to do with it. But I'm just going to defer to our council and perhaps do a little bit of research. But that's a great point to begin the conversation.
And I agree with Commissioner Felix Lopez here. I think the municipality would be your first route to go with the city council, Starkville. And then, since the city probably does not have any building codes or permitting of any kind, then that would come to the county level through Mr. Lucero's office. for any kind of construction or remodeling of something like that. But it wouldn't really go through our land use, because it's in the municipality of the city of Starkville, the town of Starkville.
Yeah, I was mostly interested in that encumbrance or whatever it's called on there. See if that limits us or whether we can still do whatever we want to do with it.
So there's a covenant on that?
There's a clause that has to be used as a community.
So as a community type center, so I don't think we can turn around and sell it. And put a 7-Eleven in there. But I think it would need to go through your city council to see what you can do and ask them for their legal advice.
We've been discussing it at council and trying to figure out what we can do. And that's the question, is that stipulation that's written on the deed? That was the question.
And also, is there without really not knowing, are there any historical society attachments to the building? Because if that is, then now you're looking at a whole different perspective. Before you do any renovations to the building, the historical society would have to get approval from them, and I mean the process, and then, but that's kind of a good thing because they could possibly have some grant money as well.
How's the structure itself? Is it pretty decent shape? That's the old sandstone building, right?
Well, it's the stone, Central Starkville Stone Schoolhouse. It has some problem with the structure, but it is not too bad shape. The roof is in good shape, which has saved the whole building, really. But we managed to get the schoolhouse put on the historical register. So that's one of the things that we did, but we're still trying to figure out exactly what we can do with the building. If there's any restrictions or other than the historical register conditions, of what we can do with it.
Well, I don't know that the county would have any authority over just building permits.
The only, that's the big question, is that stipulation that's written on there. We wanted to find out if we could do other things besides what that says. So, I'm not sure how to pose the question other than, if you guys can, commissioners can check with your attorney or whoever we need to check with and let them know, I'm sure appreciate it.
I think we can do a little bit of research on that, and you might also, through the articles of incorporation and how was the building procured, was it donated, was it, all those things are going to be important because sometimes those deeds carry the responsibility that a clause that might indicate what to do with the building thereafter. And I think that there's a paragraph in there that tells you it's going to be a community center, just in glancing at it. But a little bit of, I don't think we need to extrapolate on that here, but there's a little bit of research to be done.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Glaze, and have a good day. And
All right.
how many square feet is that building?
I don't know. It's pretty good size. It's, 3 separate wings, if you will, and I think it also had where they had restrooms and stuff in the back there. So I'm not sure what the square footage is. I was relying on Bruce for town clerk.
But we need to see that building revitalized, that we really need for the community to start with. And while we're at it, maybe it's Tavern, bring that back to life too. That was really hopping, I think, with the 60s and 70s.
It would be nice to get something going.
Well, there's a lot of tourists that are going through that area these days, so, and both the state parks. and probably up and down your county roads, so they're in the town roads, so. Mr. Richard?
Okay, well, I don't know what else asked, so I'll leave.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Trace. Appreciate it. Anyone online that would like to use this space for public comment? Okay, I don't see anyone there. Let's go to the next section. We don't have any unfinished business. So we're going to go to section 7. 7A, consideration of letter of support for the North Fork Ranch Landowners Association Forest Restoration and Wildlife Risk Mitigation Program grant application. Wow, that's no commas and no punctuations. That's, I made it though. Mr. Hornican.
Commissioners, wait for your consideration is exactly what Commissioner Lopez stated. Yes, letter of support for the North Fork Ranches wildlife fire mitigation.
So we had a letter of, they contacted us and wanted to do some mitigation. Commissioners, we have the document in there. Any questions, any discussion? Otherwise? Would you like the letter to be read, Commissioners?
I don't see any need for it.
Okay, very good. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the letter of support for the North Fork Ranch Landowner Association of Forest Restoration and Wildlife Risk Mitigation Program grant application.
Second motion. Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. 7B, consideration of letter of support for Santa Fe Trail Ranches Forest Restoration Wildlife Risk Mitigation Program grant application. Kind of the same thing, Commissioners, and the letter is attached. Any questions, any discussion? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the letter of support for the Santa Fe Trail Ranches Forest Restoration and Wildfire Risk Mitigation Program grant application.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of resolution 22-029 revised fund balance reserve policy. Mr. Dornier.
Commissioners, before you for your consideration, resolution 22-29, revising our current fund balance reserve policy to actually increase the funds that we keep on reserve. The board discussed this at your last meeting and agreed that it's a prudent taxpayer move, or citizen move, county move to increase the general fund reserve, and that's what this resolution addresses.
I think it is a step on the very right direction. Mr. Dornier, please read the resolution.
Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners, Los Angeles County, Colorado, revising Los Angeles County's fund balance reserve policy, resolution number 22-029. Whereas Los Angeles County's Board of County Commissioners, print BOCC and print, adopted resolution 21-028 establishing the fund balance and reserve policy. Whereas the BOCC believes it is prudent and warranted to revise the established fund balance and reserve amounts to improve and maintain the fiscal health of Los Angeles County. Whereas the BOCC wishes to revise the fund balance and reserve policy for certain funds for the purpose of maintaining satisfactory levels of operational reserves. Whereas the revised fund balance and reserve policy is attached here to as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference sets forth the desired minimum level of fund balances for those listed funds and describes the circumstances in which those reserves may be spent, creates a plan for replenishing any of the fund balances over time in the event any of the fund balance is used, and whereas the Board of the BOCC finds that it is in the best interest of Los Angeles County and the citizens it serves that the revised fund balance reserve policy be adopted. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, that 1, the BOCC hereby approves the revised fund balance reserve policy attached to Exhibit A, incorporated herein by reference. Upon the motion made and seconded, affirmative vote, this resolution was adopted the 18th day of October 2020
Chairman, if I may,
Go ahead, sir.
thank you, Mr. Duncan, for making that, but, and for where we're at with this today. I'd just like to state something. 6.5 years ago, this county was broke. We were closed 2 days a week. And what this organization has been able to do, the staff that we have, and the 2 boards that I've been able to serve with, and especially the last 4 years with Mr. Lopez and Mr. Haas, this is tremendous this year, what we're doing today. This shows that we have money finally in reserves, we're able to utilize and capitalize and protect those revenues and go after more funding for the community. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart to this community for voting and passing the tax measures. And to the community, we are diligently every day watching every penny on your behalf. So I'm just very proud of this moment.
Let's go to Commissioner Lopez. Do we have any other discussion, any questions? I will entertain a motion. Otherwise, by the way, yes, and you know, I really want to say thank you, Director Coverly and Mr. Durenkamp and all the staff. The policy, as you read it, it just gives you this excitement that we have a little bit of that in the event that there would be an economic downturn. This is congratulations, and that this is the benefit back to our constituents. So thank you. If there is no other comments, I will then entertain the motion.
The motion to approve Resolution 22-029, Reserve Fund Balance and Reserve Policy.
Second motion. Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Eastman?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes. 7B, consideration of South Region Healthcare Coalition, SRHCC Hospital Preparedness Program, Emergency Response Plan. Mr. Durenkamp.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration, is as Commissioner Lopez spoke, South Regional Healthcare Coalition Emergency Response Plan. I really don't have any other comment except to say that apparently the county's entered into this in the past, and they're needing our support on this. It doesn't cost the county any financial means. Basically, it's if there is an emergency of this sort, this covers kind of what the county's expectations are, this group's expectations, etc.
And I think one of the cluster of counties, Custer County, Freeman County, these are our public health department, Las Animas, Huerfano, and the Pueblo Health Department. We've seen this before, and I think it's something that prepares. Works together with all of these counties in the event of any response plan. So the plan is pretty much self-explanatory. Thank you for bringing this to us. Any commissioners, any other questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the South Region Healthcare Coalition Hospital Preparedness Program and Emergency Response Plan.
Second.
Commissioner Eastman?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes. 7E, consideration of IFB 2022-B02 diesel fuel bid. And we received that from Brandon just earlier today. Commissioner Durenkamp.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is the award for approximately 7,200 gallons of diesel needed to be delivered to our fuel tanks at the fairgrounds. With the following bid results: Hunter Valley Oil, $4.65 per gallon, stated price $33,480. Real fuel, $4.687 per gallon, stated price $33,746.40. No bid from Acorn, no bid from Grand, no bid from Lowe's. So that's the board to make the award to Hunter Valley Oil, $4.65 a gallon, stated price $33,480.
Commissioners, any questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the diesel fuel bid to Lahana Valley Oil, $4.65 a gallon, extended $33,480.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. 7F, consideration of letter of support for 5 property owners, forest restoration and wildlife mitigation program grant application. Mr. Dornica.
Commissioners, similar to the other two the board just approved, this is 5 property owners getting together to submit a grant application for forest restoration and wildlife risk management. So, as the board approved this one also, we did. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dornica. Commissioners, any discussion?
I'd just like to state, Chairman, that I'm very happy to see these wildlife risk mitigation, these forest mitigations in our community, and to have 3 of them today in front of us. I'm very proud of our community for stepping up and for taking on the responsibility of being good landowners and property owners of our community, because the fire risk is huge for us, and knock on wood, we haven't had much fire this summer, and for all those firefighters that are out there, we appreciate everything you guys do for us, but this is something that we can do to help assist them in protecting our forests and our fires from happening. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter of support for 5 property owners, forest restoration and wildlife risk mitigation program grant application.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, and by the way, that's a good segue to, we have a meeting tomorrow at the Cuchara Inn where some of the mitigation programs that have taken place. At the last meeting that I attended, I asked, I request of the director Carrier there to show us what sections have mitigated, so we'll be having a field trip tomorrow, going to see what some of these acreage that is being mitigated, fire mitigated, looks like. So I think it's going to be a good day. The rest a little warm. We're going to be up in the Chara, so even though it's going to be at 1 o'clock, you can get a little cool up there. So the next item, 7G, consideration of public trustee, 3rd quarter report. Commissioners, that's one of the reports that we get every now and then, pretty much standard.
I have no questions.
Commissioner has any questions?
No.
I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the public trustee 3rd quarter report.
Second motion.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. 7H, consideration of project 22-C005, retaining wall progress payments to EGD Construction. Mr. Dorrington.
Commissioners, before you for your consideration is a request by EGD Construction for a draw of $75,000 regarding the retaining wall that they have been working on the First Street side of the courthouse, for lack of a better way to describe it. They have pretty much expended the original amounts of monies that the county forwarded them through developing forms that will have the indentations of the domes as the old wall has. We requested that, but not requested that our bid doctor required that to look as close to the existing wall, new wall as possible. And ended up having to buy some more forms, fuel prices going up on reservations. They've got the forms for the footer in place for the northeast side of the courthouse. And the owner told me that if he's able to draw the $75,000, it should take care of any encumbrances that they'll be coming upon the concrete pours, not only this side, but also out the northwest side of the courthouse.
This is semantics from Mr. Dorrington. For one question, as I was reading the drawdown, it says he's cutting 18,000, and I'm not sure what that down on page 44 of 107 of my packet, where EGD provides the description, and he's cut 18,000, and I'm not sure what the next word is.
Blocks.
Blocks.
And I spoke with him. We left the veterans ceremony last week. He explained to me that, let's put it this way. Carpenters back 100 years ago were a lot more skilled than we are today with design. So for him to recreate that design, they've had to manipulate lots of lumber to make those forms. So there's a lot of cuts required to get those forms right, to make it match the rest of the aesthetics that have to fill it in table. And he was like, I didn't, when he took the bid, he knew it was going to be a lot of work. But he didn't realize how much more it was going to be. It hasn't cost us any more money. He's incurred his expenses at his own cost, and the time he's put in. So it hasn't gone over the bid other than the drainage system that we approved 2 weeks ago of $3,300, something minimum like that. But he did tell me that he wants it to look right. He wants this county courthouse to look, and his work will be seen every day as people drive by for generations to come. So that's the reason for those forms and blocks.
That was highlighted that, so thank you for that. Any other discussion, commissioners? I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve project 22C005, wall progress payment to EGD Construction.
Second motion. Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Now we're going to go to section 8, financial matters, consideration of bills and payroll for the first half of October. Finance Director Coverly.
Payroll as of October 15th was $197,391.19. Any questions on payroll? Bills paid on October 5th was $127,136.07. We paid $17,837, the final payment for the coroner's carport. We paid up royalties of $15,000.
And that is, I would imagine, the project is completely done at the corners.
The project's completed, the corner's been inspected and approved by the city inspectors and myself, so everything was done as per the documents.
Bills paid on October 12th, $101,751.14. $53,466 was paid out for the jail fire alarm system. That was budgeted for. And that's it.
And that also, that's the Johnson Controls. That's, I would imagine.
I don't recall if that was Johnson or Johnson did the HVAC system, but this isn't, going back to what Commissioner Lopez had mentioned earlier about the taxpayers allowing us to use those funds that had otherwise been in a account that we could, those tax funds, that helps pay for this piece here to get that HVAC, or excuse me, the smoke alarm system up and functioning as it should. And we may end up with a few more bills on that because they aren't complete yet with that smoke alarm system.
Without the taxpayers approving the excess revenue to be kept by the county, we wouldn't even be in this position. So thank you again to the taxpayer of this county for allowing us to do our jobs.
Very well said. Any discussion on the consideration of bills and payroll? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval of bills and payroll for the first half of October 2022.
Second.
Commissioner Reese Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Information only, financials as of September 2022, Finance Director Coverly.
Sorry, I'm not well prepared today. I think I'm going to review really quickly, but I'll do the best I can. Let's see, general fund. General fund has a surplus of $660,000 as of September 30th. Road and Bridge has a loss of $57,000. Airport has, after I transferred the funds from capital expenditure, pills, and we also had an insurance claim that came in, has a surplus of $18,000. Contingent has a surplus of $104,000. Capital expenditure has a surplus of $595,000. This one is still, because we still are in the middle of project 2 of the courthouse, so we're kind of at a standstill with that.
Do you foresee spending probably the rest of that?
Well, we also still have underfunded to reimburse us so on that piece. Lottery, it has a surplus of 42,000. Our guild has a loss of 123 because we did use some fund balance with all the transfers that we did to airport and to Road and Bridge. Correct, yes. That's the only things that we did for.
Budget system.
And so the additional bill, when is the first payment going to be taking place? The one legislation that passed just a couple of
I
weeks ago?
requested it.
Okay,
I
very
thought it
good.
said 5 to 6 business days.
Okay,
So I probably need to ask Dawn if it came through.
okay.
Okay, because I requested it, I think, right before the last board meeting. I thought it was.
Very good.
Yeah, so, and that does come into a different bank account that Donna has for our federal funding. So I'll talk with Donna today.
And on the, going back to the road and bridge, I know $57,000, is that some revenue still pending up there?
Probably not, because we've already given him his PILT. He doesn't really have any DOLA grants going at this moment. And we've already transferred the 200,000. So this is just probably him using the fund balance that he had appropriate, or maybe had done in the budget. We did say that we would use so much fund balance to make it through 2022.
And Commissioner, I think if you look back on prior financial statements, the deficit is actually larger, so we are coming to a better balance than what we were in the past. And it's expected, because a lot of times the HETF monies, and Christie can elaborate on this, come in at different times of the year. And if memory serves me right, about this time of the year, we receive a pretty good payment from HETF for the road measure.
Yes, because they're fiscal year, they're July, so.
It can kind of getting off topic a bit, but it's just like this diesel fuel bid that the board just approved for $4.50 or whatever it was a gallon. Road Bridge Department, I don't believe has ever seen fuel that prices, but we really can't shut our operations down. So what we did instead, through the board's approval, was to not do other projects like our chip seal project, where we have a budget for that. We have one of those monies to try and get us through the end of the year through these higher fuel prices. So 57,000, in my opinion, isn't too bad at this point right now.
So would you say that the inflation has impacted the San Luis County?
I would say it's a fair statement, yes.
Thank you, sir. Jail facility, but altogether, $1.25 million positive surplus. Thank you. And I like this summary right here, Director Corey, I think it's appreciated by the three of us because it gives us exactly where we are.
You can compare it to the last 2 years
Yes, and
as well.
that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to jump on VHS.
So I'll make the motion, Chairman, to suspend the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting at this time and enter into the Board of County Commissioners acting in the capacity of Board of Human Services with a 10-minute recess.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Peniston?
Yes.